you to love. Yo, that's finna be my theme song right there. You talking about I'm on brand.
Searching for someone who can share that special love with me. And your eyes have that glow. Could it be your face I see on my computer screen? Need a special girl to share in my computer world. Astrology, thanks to my technology. Shoot-a-bop, I wanna love you. Shoot-a-bop, baby. Shoot-a-bop, I wanna love you. Shoot-a-bop, my computer. You know I've been around from hot sex and my.
Good morning, everybody. Good morning. If you could just drop a good morning in the chat for us, or even come off of mute and say good morning to us on a Friday.
Yep.
Getting this thing started. Yeah, good morning. Good morning. Good morning. Welcome to another Career Ready Friday.
Come on, guys.
There you go. Get some energy. There you go. We at the CCR office are really excited as we continue to roll out these Career Ready Fridays. And today we're highlighting none other than our information technology, or as we popularly call it, IT, right? And we are grateful because that's what's making this whole thing work, especially in this virtual world. So we are grateful to our IT professionals and learners. My name is Gerard Williamson. I have the pleasure of serving as the Grads to Careers recruiter within the College and Career Readiness Office. And I'm going to be your host along with our several other team members this Friday morning. So we are going to roll right into this thing, and we are going to go over our agenda today and then our norms, and then I will pass the mic. All right. So hopefully that sounds good to everybody. We're going to move to our next slide. Perfect. So today we are going to make 3 pit stops. We are going to first be at the Cisco classroom tour. Then we're going to pivot on over to a career panel discussion. Thank you to our panelists for joining us today. And then we are going to shimmy over to a workplace tour. All right, so we have 3 pit stops. We hope to keep you engaged. If you have any comments, questions, or concerns, please drop them in the chat, because we will be checking the chat and making sure to get everyone's voices and questions in. All right, which leads us into our norms for today. We ask that you be present, be curious. That means, again, ask questions in that chat, ping people, raise your hand, all the wonderful fun features that Zoom has. Give an emoji, if you can. We want you to be present and to know that you are engaging with us. Again, ask those questions. No question is silly or overshot. We want to make sure that everyone's questions and concerns are met. And also stay on mute. We have a lot of background noise. I'm working from home today. I am not on mute, so I've told everybody in my house, including my dog, to be quiet this morning. All right, but if you can, please stay on mute so that we can hear everyone as they share and present. All right, if that's good with you, if you know how to give a virtual thumbs up through an emoji or just physically, please go ahead and do that if you're able, so that we can move on to our CTE team to do an overview of our IT program. I'm going to pass it on.
Good morning, everybody. My name is Nicole DeVito. I'm an educational specialist in the Career and Technical Education Office, and I support the IT pathways. We currently have IT pathways. We have 2 separate IT pathways. We have the Cisco Networking Academy, cybersecurity pathway and our computer science pathway. Our computer science pathway has two distinct entities. Western and Mervo are currently using the PLTW, the Project Lead the Way curriculum for computer science, while our other schools that you can see on this list are using a locally developed curriculum, which was developed with Code in the Schools and code.org. And hopefully soon everyone will be using our local curriculum. And our Cisco networking pathways, students at most schools will be directed into cybersecurity. Digital Harbor will still have the networking and cybersecurity pathways. So I hope I did that in the right amount of time, and I'm going to pass it back to Albert, or back to Gerard, sorry.
Nope, not a problem. We perfectly had it. All right. I believe Albert is taking it over next.
Yes, we can jump to the next slide. And good morning again, everyone. So just want to quickly take a look. There's so many jobs in IT, and our career panelists will delve into more details, but just wanted to give our students an example of some of the careers that you may be able to take advantage of. There's so many openings, there's so much availability, and I'm hearing that IT jobs pay a pretty nice penny. So I encourage you to take a look at some of these careers. In the follow-up email, we will send a link so you can even do your own research to see what are jobs paying locally, like within Maryland, within the region, and you can also look at it from a national view. And it'll also go into just some of the requirements for different positions, but just wanted to give you a quick overview here of some jobs that are available. And if you're just joining us, feel free to shout out your school in the chat so we can know where you're from. Feel free to put that in the chat. We can go to the next slide.
All right. Yeah, which brings you back in for Grads to Careers. Again, my name is Gerard Williamson. I have the pleasure of serving as a recruiter for Grads to Careers. And we have currently two programs in IT. We have a drone pilot program. All right. We have a drone pilot program, which is fairly new. And we also have a cybersecurity program. These programs are free for graduates of Baltimore City Public Schools or students that have achieved their GED through the state of Maryland and live in Baltimore City. We service youth from the ages of 17 to 21. And again, right now we have two programs in IT and they are completely free. Somebody yelled it out in the chat, free. These programs are free and we are currently recruiting, right? So that means you want to talk to me. I'm gonna drop that email in the chat as well as the info, sign up so that I can connect with you offline. So I'm excited for everyone to be here today. And again, G2C has two IT training programs right now. So that is very exciting. We're going to keep this train moving and we are going to start our show. So I'm gonna kick it back to Albert. Remember the norms, make sure you share your questions in the chat, and most importantly, do what? Stay engaged. Emojis, comments, claps, snaps, all of that is what we love to see. Albert, take it away.
Absolutely. Thank you so much, Gerard. Let's move on to the next slide. So this is our tour schedule for today. I know that originally we promoted it as two different parts of a full tour, but we're going to have an all-inclusive tour. So you all are going to ride this train with us K through 12 through these three different stops. So we're going to start at Emerson Westside High School in just a moment with the classroom tour. Then we're going to pivot to a career panel discussion with some amazing guests that we have joining us today. And then finally, we will end at Pass It On, an IT company here locally, where they'll do a workplace tour and show you some of the ins and outs of what they do. So as we're going on this tour, again, please make sure you put your questions and thoughts in the chat. Please stay on mute and stay engaged. All right, let's move on to the next slide. All right, like I said, our first stop on the tour is Emerson Westside High School, one of our high schools right here in Baltimore City. And we have Mr. Haneker here with us, along with his class, who's going to be able to highlight just some of what the students are doing, what they're learning, what they're working on. So Mr. Haneker, so excited to have you here. Thank you so much for joining us. Your background is making it a little bit difficult to see.
Let me see if I can fix that.
You.
Let's see here. Yeah, I wasn't sure if that was going to be a problem or not. Yeah, I see that.
We just see a bullet train.
Yeah. Yeah, that's, see if I can get that going here.
It's all right.
If I can get it out. I'm having a little bit of an issue here.
Okay. As you're working on that, you want to just let us know where your school is located?
Yeah, we're at Edmondson Westside High School. It's on Edmondson Avenue here, Athol Road, on the west side of town here. So we're basically, we're going to give the tour very shortly here. And of course, we're in a separate building from the main campus. So our campus has 2 physical buildings, and we are in a dedicated building just for CTE only. Okay, so that does not interfere with anything else in the general student population in the other buildings. So, so we're kind of lucky to have this for now. And as soon as I try to get this background going, I'll give you guys a tour. So give me a minute here.
Okay. And I know if you hit that that upwards arrow next to stop video, it goes to video, choose virtual background. I think that might be.
Yeah, I'm trying to get that going, and I'm trying to find that right now, but it's giving me some issues here. Trying to get that virtual background off.
Got it permanently set. Thank you all for being here again, and thank you for your patience. I see some wonderful faces of our students here, our teachers. Glad to have you all here as well, our other school-based staff and partners. Super excited to have you here.
It is so cool. Hi, Jamie and Jayla and Zion and Zoe and all the faces, and Gabriel and Mr. Tynell and Tanera and Makai. You guys look so amazing. Do you have any questions for us about information technology while we get the background solved? How do you guys use technology right now? Any questions that we can, like anything that you're interested in learning about as we get started? Hi, Lyric. Hi, Zion again.
That thing is still going off. It's not coming off for some reason. Do you want to move on to another school until I try to sort this out?
We can pivot. I mean, we can also, if you like, you can just have, students talk, about what they're doing, what their experience is, or we can pivot and come back. Let us know what's best for you.
Yeah, if you want to quickly come back, because I want to walk around here if I could. So.
Got it. Cool. So we're going to come back to Mr. Haneker so you can see his great class and his students. So what we'll do is we will pivot to our career panel just a little bit early. And then we'll come back to that classroom tour, okay? So we have our panelists here. I'm just looking around really quickly. I know we have 3 of 4. Let me see if Sasha joined us today. She may be joining us shortly, but we'll still jump in. So let's really quickly, if we can show the slides again. Thank you so much. So here are our panelists. We have folks from all over doing amazing things. They're gonna talk more in details about who they are and what they do, but just wanted to quickly show you who our panelists are. And again, if you would like to ask questions, feel free to put them in the chat as we're having this conversation. All right. So thank you so much for sharing this slide. So we're going to start off this panel discussion. If we can just begin by describing your career and educational journey and how you got to your jobs, I think that would be great. And we can start with you, Dr. Willy Sanders, and then we'll just move around to our other panelists. Oh, you're on mute.
Yeah.
There you go.
How about I use my information technology skills to get off mute? All right, a little bit about my journey. So again, I'm a Willy Sanders. I am a professor at Towson University, and I'm also the founder and executive director of an organization called Passing On. My path to IT was a little bit twisty, right? So I always knew from the time I was a kid that I wanted to do something with computers. I remember my mom getting us our first computer when we were like 14, when I was like 14, and I got to install Windows on it. And I got to fight through that process because I didn't know nobody who could teach me how to do it. So I had to figure it out on my own. And then that night, I spent so much time fighting with it that night, my dreams were literally in pop-up windows. So it was crazy. So I knew from that time I wanted to do something with computers. But when I was going to school, there was no CTE pathway, nothing like that. So I, went to school, did my thing, graduated, went to started college out. And then that's when I actually got my first exposure to, being able to actually study computer science. It was a little bit overwhelming though. Like I had folks in the class with me who, knew computer science already. Maybe they took it in high school because their high schools had it, but mine didn't. And it frustrated me to the point where I dropped out of college. So I was out of college for like 3-4 years, kind of drifting, doing my thing, trying to figure out what I want to do in my life. But then I got introduced to an area of technology that really connected with me, and that was computer networking. And from then on, started studying networking. I started studying programming, went back to school, and now I'm here. I'm Dr. Sanders, and I went from college dropout to college professor, and IT made it possible. So you guys are in a really good place. IT is where it's at. I don't know if there's any other technologies on here. Like last time we did this, they had some biotech folks on there, but IT is where it's at. So you guys are in a good place. All right, I'll popcorn it over to the next person.
Thank you. And any of our other panelists can feel free to jump in if you'd like.
Well, Jalissa, did you want to go?
Yeah, sure. I was going to go ahead and start. I see somebody's actually presenting, but I'll go ahead and start. So hi, everybody. My name is Julissa Prouty. I am so happy to share with you all today a little bit what I do. First, does anybody know what information security is? Any clue?
You have thought, feel free to put them in the chat.
So information security is basically the protection of information. So think about who here uses TikTok. Does anybody here use TikTok? Oh, I see some hands getting raised. Okay. So when you have to log into your TikTok, right, you have to put in a username, you have to put in a password, right? In order to log into TikTok, you can't just go to TikTok and then start using it, right? You have to get access to it first. Well, so when you put in your username and your password, and then you're able to start sharing and using the application, think about that. That is actually how I work with information security. I help keep that information that you're accessing safe and your data safe. So when you're using your password, I help make sure that your password is safe and no one else can access it. All right. So how did I get into this field? Pretty much, I started out much like you all. In school, I was always very curious about IT. I don't know, it was just always very interesting to me. I loved working with computers. I actually loved taking computers apart and putting them back together. And in high school, I took some classes, took some keyboarding, computer classes, business courses, but I wasn't exactly sure where I wanted to go with computers. I just knew that I liked doing something in IT. And so college, I actually looked up schools that had really good computer programs, and Norfolk State actually really struck out to me because they have an amazing cybersecurity program there that they're still revamping, and has actually got a lot of great resources. And so I ended up graduating from Norfolk State. And I moved back to the DMV area where I started working in the DC area, worked at the Pentagon for a little while. And luckily, I landed on a really great job that allowed me to travel. So does anybody know where Belgium is? Any clues? No. So Belgium is in the western part of Europe, and it's right next to France and Germany. So long story short, I got introduced to this amazing opportunity to move across the world pretty much to Belgium to work as an information security professional. Now, I don't know about you, but I never in a million years would I dream that I'd be able to live and work in an entire other country outside of the United States just to do something that I love doing every single day. So that just goes to show that there are limitless opportunities within the IT career field. And I will kick it off to the next person.
So I have to ask, right? Because not some of us may never make it to Belgium. I don't know if you could take your camera and show us what outside looks like. I don't know if that's crazy, but this could be our field trip around the world to Europe for free.
I don't know if I have that much of a really good view. Right now, it's just a big apartment building right next to me, but I can show you my apartment building. And then I can kind of show you like the outside. I have, let's see, how do you say, like a little balcony with the little forest view. So it's really not anything special, but I will swing it around here.
What language do they speak in Belgium?
So in Belgium, there's actually two main languages because there's two different provinces. So one main language is French. And then the other is actually Flemish, which is like a mixture between Dutch and English. So can you see that?
Yeah, it looks like Baltimore.
And you guys are lucky, we have blue skies today.
Did you have to learn those languages to be in this IT role?
Luckily, I did not. However, I am adventurous and I really do like to learn. Actually, one of the things I'm learning about myself is I actually like to learn languages. And I still work for an American company and we work in support of NATO. And if anybody is curious, NATO is basically, you know, an alliance with North America and Europe, European countries. And so we have other countries in Europe that are working together, and I work with these other countries, and I just provide information security support in collaboration with these other countries. And so there are a lot of other languages that are, you know, being interacted with, and, you know, it is a very big learning opportunity. Any other questions?
I'm sorry, I was just like, I'm a child myself. So thank you so much. I don't know if anyone, and I don't want to derail it, so I apologize.
I've been to Brussels actually.
Nice. Okay. Yes, Brussels is a beautiful city.
Yeah, actually it was Bruxelles, I guess. So that's the way they pronounce it. But yeah.
Yes, Brussels. Yes.
Yeah.
Right, let's shoot it over to Terry real quick, and then we'll pass it over to Sasha as well.
All right, cool. I don't want to take too much time. So, man, I'm just so excited to see all your smiling faces this morning. Hope everybody had a good night's rest. It's nice and energetic. This is a great program for you guys, and I'm so happy to be here. So my path, I'll be real quick. My path was really crazy. I did not know I was going to come into cybersecurity or work in technology. I actually wanted to do graphic design, and a movie I saw a long time ago, and I know nobody has seen this movie probably. It was a movie called Independence Day with Will Smith, and it had these aliens in it, and it was a part in there where they were like showing the set, and it was in DC, and I grew up in DC. It was a part where they were attacking the city, doing silly stuff or whatever. And I wanted to be a person to make that movie magic that was happening, to be able to make the make-believe aliens, be able to make the make-believe set. And so somebody told me that, hey, that's a pathway called graphic design.
Oh,
And so I started going down that path. I started, learning more about it and figuring out how to get involved in it. But I had one problem. I could not draw very well at all.
let me tell them this. Let's do this.
I'm sorry. Somebody had a question?
Yeah.
I was like, okay. And so going on my path of trying to learn how to draw, do these things, whatever, I was like, man, this is pretty frustrating. To pick up a new skill that I found out I wasn't really all that passionate about. I was more passionate about using the software and computer programs over there in order to do the graphics and do the things, whatever. So I talked to a career counselor at a school that I was at, and they told me that, well, you need to learn another skill of drawing and pick up some other things. And because I didn't have the passion behind it, I decided to abandon that, which was a bad idea, and go into another area called finance. And so I went into an area called finance to learn about money and learn and to help the government to track people who were doing bad things with money or whatever. And so in the process of that, I found that I didn't really like money either that much, or learning about money and all the stuff they went with that. It was a bunch of math, and I didn't really want to do all the math that was there. And so again, I was like, man, I don't want to do this either, but I love working with the computer programs that are helping me to calculate the money and to code to be able to solve these complex calculations. And so I had another mentor or person who said, hey, you know what? They have this thing called cybersecurity that's going on in school right now. You should check it out. And I got involved with that, and I fell in love because it combined all of the things that I thought I wanted to do together, where while I wasn't great at drawing, I was very creative. And so cybersecurity, really a lot of times it calls on you to be creative, because you're going to see a lot of numbers like I did in finance. You're going to have to call on a bunch of different skill sets in order to find out how somebody is doing something bad on a computer network or on computers. And so I had to use all those different skills from those different areas in the cybersecurity area. And so now what I do is I pretty much help I help the government to stop bad guys from doing bad things on computer networks. And so the computer network is pretty much everything that you're connected to. Right now, we're on a computer network. And so what I help to prevent is for people to take over these networks and to use it against other people, or to come in and steal data, like Ms. Jaleesa was saying. And so one of the ways I do that is that I help to create offensive tools that will be able to go and stop other bad guys from doing things. So just like, you may have locks on your doors, or you may have an alarm system that makes a lot of noise for your car or for your home. I help to create those things for the government so that they can be notified and know, and also have a response back to somebody who may be doing something bad on a computer network. And now my company that I have, i3 Technologies, we're working on local governments to help them to do the same thing for local and small businesses. People just like myself, and people like other people who want to start business and do entrepreneurship, to help protect their stuff as well. Hopefully I can take you on to say that.
No, that was great. That was amazing. I appreciate all of our panelists who shared so far. We're going to come right back to Miss Sasha. But I do want to remember, we were trying to jump into a classroom tour really quickly. I think things are good with Mr. Haneke's class. So we're going to jump there real quick because his students have to leave, and then we're going to come right back to the panelists. So I'm going to push it over to you, Mr. Haneke.
all right. Sorry for the snag here. I had a little bit of combination of the background just wouldn't kick off. I finally got it with some coaxing. I got it to go. And kind of our Wi-Fi is not the best, so I truly apologize for the technical difficulties, but as IT, that happens and we work them out. So that was probably, it was pretty good that you got to see that. But anyway, I've got my students here, my team here, and I need a volunteer to do the panning of this laptop so we can see what's going around here. So. All right, so now let's see if we can get this going right here. All right, so a quick tour of our classroom. If you bring the laptop around, these are all our PCs here. On this side here, these are all laboratory computers. We can do whatever we want with them. We can put in all various operating systems. These are not part of the VCPSS network here, so there's no locks or bars on here, so we can put as many operating systems on them as many times as we need to without affecting the network. And then over here on this side of the room, we got here.
Hey, Mr. Haneke.
to the BCPS network to do their virtual textbook, getting on their assignments and everything like that. So a lot of the labs divided in half. Yeah,
So,
question?
yeah, just real quick, I was going to see if whoever the camera person could get a little bit closer to you because the audio kind of faded as you got further away.
Gotcha.
Thank you so much.
All right, so if we walk over here, we got some examples of what we normally do. Walk this way. Got our couple of students in the project right now, and you can try and please talk to them. So we have some computers that are opened up right here. One is basically we're taking a look at the hard drive here, and the other one she's working on RAM removal and replacement. So if anybody wants to ask my finest students here any questions, please do so now.
Yeah, and students, feel free to put questions in the chat if you have them, but I'd love to know what made your students, Mr. Haneker, get into computers and get into Cisco. What encouraged you all to want to learn more about that?
Folks, they're asking you a question.
I can do it myself right now. Mainly, I've always been interested in type of systems like computers. I always wanted to know what's inside them. Or mainly what I want to do is mainly take apart and mainly repair computers. I always like the interest in networks, the internet, and how they're gonna, how operating systems work, stuff like computers and how we take these apart. And we've done this before. This is really simple for us. Mainly, we're always in a phase of getting our work done. Seeing what else we can find. Anybody else?
Anybody else want to say something here?
I was just gonna say basically the same thing what Chris said. I just always had an interest in computers and stuff like that. I just wanted to know what made, what allowed us to have access to the internet and how to take it apart and stuff like that.
Right, that's pretty, do you want to say anything for these fine folks on there?
I'm more interested in the future.
Look over there.
As we all know, technology in the future, so I was thought, okay, want to get to technology, so I feel like part of the future and the history one day.
There you go. Okay, so there you go. You got it in a nutshell. We'll walk over here. I just want to show the pride of the wall here. This is our superstars right here. These are the people, these are the good folks that are certified already, ready to go. Okay, so over here is all the graduating class. Of course, these folks here, we need to, on this side of the wall, we need to get up there, but we're already on a roll here. And one last thing I want to walk us through. The camera person will follow us. Right here is our networking side right here. This here is our rack system right here, as you can see. So we have a rack system, and we have these computers right here where we're at here. These are what we use to talk to the routers and switches and make our networks right here. So we're pretty proud of this, and we add to it. So we modify it and take equipment on and off. So I think we got a good thing going. And the next evolution here is going to be our cybersecurity program. So I mean, kind of pins and needles about that, but we got to get the basics down, which is basically IT essentials and our basic networking here. So, and then one thing that also I want to point out here to our good folks out in Zoom land here is that we're the go-to people now. We have students and teachers coming in with their laptops, their phones, even any type of IT questions. They come in here and say, Mr. Haneker, can you students help us out? Or the principals say, okay, we got a computer lab that's down. Well, guess what? These are the folks that are the first responders now in our campus here. Now that ITD is not going out to fix laboratories, these fine folks over here, they straightened out like how many labs? 3, 4? 4 computer labs from over close to like 200 computers.
Yeah.
So I'm really proud of my folks here. I think their future looks bright. I think we're needed more than ever with the pandemic, and it's go Red Storms. So if anybody has any questions, if anybody likes to see.
Yes, Mr. Haneker, we just have one question. There's so much excitement in the chat. I can see so many smiling faces on the screen. Everyone really appreciates this tour. So the one question that we have real quick, somebody asked, how long have the students been learning about computers? Can they just fill us in how long they've been learning about it?
Want to say something? Do you want to answer that question?
First school we started our sophomore year, basically. So we've been learning about it
Since then, right?
10th grade. And we're seniors now. This is the senior.
Awesome. Awesome. That was wonderful. Again, thank you so much, Mr. Haneke. Thank you to your wonderful students as well. We know that you all have to run, but we appreciate your time.
One other thing that we are also doing is we are trying to go to Japan next year in the land of IT. You know, so we're trying to get that together. So, you know, when we talked with the fine lady there about Brussels, you know, of course, I've been around the world myself. I just came back from an international trip. So, but I'm planning on taking my students to Tokyo next, not this spring break, but next spring break. But the situation with the pandemic would be massively improved by then, so they can be immersed into like the land of technology there. So.
Yes, definitely excited to hear that news. Keep us posted on Japan. We'll be right here cheering you along.
All right, thank you, thank you. Yeah, I think on behalf of myself and my students, it was a pleasure to showcase our school and what we do here. It's a rarity that we get out so much. So.
You're on mute, Albert.
Sorry, thank you so much. I should be a non-mute professional at this point, but thank you again, Mr. Haneke, and your class. We appreciate you. I'm going to pass it over real quick. We're going to pivot back to our panel. We have another amazing panelist, and I would love for her to introduce herself and just she'll tell you a little bit about her educational and career journey. So I'm going to pass it over to Sasha Austin.
Hi, everyone. It's nice to meet you all. So just a little bit about myself. I went to McKinley Technology High School in DC. And even though I was at like a STEM-based high school, I really wasn't interested in it. I was just taking the classes because I like my iPhone and iPad, like it wasn't a real reason. So we got the opportunity to intern at Microsoft. Like we had a like career specialists who would like come in and help us do internships. And so he sent me the email over, and I actually deleted the email just because I felt like it wasn't something I could do, and I wasn't really like passionate about tech at the time. And so I want to say like a week later, he came to my class to see if I was interested. I mean, if I got the email. And so I lied and said I didn't get it just because, you know, I didn't want to make it seem like I deleted it. So I think he went to like another student. And by the time he got back, I was able to transfer like the message from my trash box back to my inbox, just to show him that I did receive it. And so based off of that, he kind of convinced me to apply. And I got the internship at Microsoft as a marketing manager. And so we created like a lot of different gaming apps, and I was able to make all the social media posts, the websites and all that stuff. So that really showed me that, like, you know, having somebody at your school that is like invested in you and wants to see you win was definitely beneficial for me. So when I went to college, I majored in information systems with a minor in marketing, just because I was able to see like how marketing and technology kind of coincide together. And just being at school, I saw that there was like a lack of people of color and girls interested in technology. So I wrote a children's book called Sasha Savvy Loves to Code to promote STEM and just like coding. And then also Sasha Savvy starts it up to promote STEM and entrepreneurship. And so, you know, just based off of me doing that one internship, I believe I graduated college with 10 internships. So like, I definitely thank him a lot for kind of putting me on this path, because I don't know what I would have been doing if I didn't like pursue technology.
Thank you so much for that, Sasha. And can you just put the links to your books in the chat? Somebody already said that they already grabbed one of them previously. Oh, Terry, yeah, we appreciate you. So yeah, please put that in the chat. We have about 5 more minutes to go for our panel, just because of those few technical difficulties, but we still have some great questions to ask. So we'll try to get to one more question that we have. So what were some of the challenges that you may have faced in trying to get through to your career? And what did you have to do to overcome those challenges to get to where you are today? So if we can just quickly get through that, and anybody can feel free to jump in to start on that question.
I think one of the challenges, and I heard it mentioned at least from one other panelist that had something in common with me, was actually figuring out what I wanted to do in IT. When you're on the outside and you're looking at some career fields, especially ones like information technology, you might look at it as being this one thing. Like a lot of people assume, like, you're going to be in computers, you're going to be sitting behind a desk with a hoodie on, typing code all day long, right? That's their picture in their mind. But IT is like this big umbrella. And underneath of that umbrella is like all these little things that you can do. So regardless of what you actually want to do in technology, there might be a place for you. If you're artistic, there's a place for you. If you're into music, like a lot of people, I'm classically trained in opera. And I got my first IT job because I'm classically trained in opera. The person who was hiring was a classical pianist who happened to also be a software developer. Right? Go figure. So that's how we connected. So, but let's say you're into music. You can do technology in music, right? There's tons of software they use for mixing and mastering music and making beats and making tracks. There's tons of ways to get into IT. So the big first step, I think for me, the hardest part was first identifying what exactly I wanted to do. And then once I found where I fit in, studying and learning was no issue because I was doing something that I loved.
I don't mind hopping in. I just want to stamp everything that the good Dr. Willy just said. that was really good. We both said, man, I'll just say, like, the biggest challenge I had was finding like really good mentors, I think, or people to help me to guide the path. But the beauty, I think you guys are so fortunate to live in a great time of technology to where your internet is fast. Like I used to have to sit and mine's had to dial up, and if somebody picked up the phone, it hung up and you couldn't get on the internet anymore. And you guys don't deal with that anymore. Or just even the fact of having a computer in the house or having a computer that was even accessible at school or anywhere. And so with technology being in so many places and so many different areas, you don't have to wait for information. You can actually go out and get it. And so I would say for you guys, as Mr. Willy was saying about the different pathways, I would really just sit and, you can watch YouTube videos if your parents allow it. You can look up things on the internet about, saying the different areas of cybersecurity, where I know for a lot of us, that wasn't available at the time. You did not have the opportunity. You can go, it was a time, and I'm sorry, I might sound really old, guys, but it was a time you could go on the internet and look up something and nothing came back. You could try to find, you can look, you would not get anything about what you were looking for. And that doesn't exist anymore. Now, within a couple of days, if a new technology comes out, somebody or hundreds of somebody have done a review on it, or a TikTok video or a reel about it. And it's really cool. You guys live in a really cool age where there's a lot of technology and a lot of information at your fingertips, and you can really take advantage of it. So ask people that in it, like ask us, if you see, like the people in the panel today, ask your teachers, like as individuals who may be able to connect you to the right ways we can go, so you don't have to struggle the same way I know some of us did in finding our paths in this industry.
I would definitely say just the classes that I took from high school and comparing it to college. I think that was probably one of my challenges because, now that you're in college, like the work is a little harder and like we have different kind of projects. So I think that difference made it very challenging my first year. And so I definitely kind of connected with other classmates and other people within my major just to, go to the library. We'll be in the library to like 10, 11 p.m., just like working on different projects. I feel like it's important to definitely connect with others and just like have friends or just like other people, other like-minded people that have the same interests, just so you're not doing it alone.
I'll jump in here really quick and I'll just say that completely agree with Dr. Willy Sanders. as far as trying to find what it is exactly that you want to do. And another one of my challenges also was, as Sasha was saying, is not having a lot of representation, right? So working in the environment that I was working in or am working in, I was pretty much the only Black female in my office space. And so that was very challenging because I always felt like I had to overperform. And I didn't really have somebody who I can look up to. And like like Terry said, finding a really good mentor is important and sometimes can be hard, especially in this field if you don't have a lot of representation. So for me, I looked for really good mentors, networking a lot with coworkers, and just doing a lot of research, in the field to learn and, to guide my path forward.
Thank you all so much for those informative responses. I'm hoping that our students were able to capture so many of those nuggets and jewels that were being dropped by you all. So really appreciate it. We are just about 13 minutes from concluding the event. So we're gonna transition from this wonderful panel discussions. And this is me just giving you all virtual roses for everything that you shared during the panel. I really appreciate it. But we're gonna transition to our office tour. It's going to be a pretty quick office tour, but I think you're going to be in for a treat. So I'm going to pass the mic over to Adenike to host the tour and Dr. Willy Sanders to conduct the tour.
Hey, Dr. Sanders, I'm so excited to tour your facilities with you, with all of our amazing young people. You're on mute.
I said, awesome. So in order to, because we're in a building that has multiple floors and I would have had to go through elevators and stuff, I recorded the tour and I'm going to be live telling you what's going on in the video.
Okay.
Let me just pull up the video recording I did a few minutes ago. Give me 1 second.
What's behind you though? I've been curious about that like all morning. Are those like walkie talkies and
stuff? Yeah, they're walkie talkies. So where we're stationed, right? We're inside of another organization. So pass it on. I'm at Pass It On now, our headquarters. We are embedded inside of another company. That means that we have offices inside of another company's building. The organization is called the Maryland Center for Veterans Education and Training. They're a shelter that help homeless veterans, and we help them by acting as their IT department. So we have offices set up inside of their building where we teach our classes and we do Pass It On's work, but we also are their full service IT company. We do their networking, their cybersecurity, we do their telecom, everything. So my students who come here get a chance to not only get trained, they get dropped into a live IT department and they get a chance to run tickets and stuff. So that's what the walkie talkies are for. So,
and so in the video, we're going to see maybe what a live IT department does.
Yep.
Okay.
Yeah. Where are we? Video? That's my
Thank you so much for this, by the way.
I literally just had the video up. What is going on? Here we go. Let me share my screen. Or do I have permission to share?
Let me double check. And I'm just going to make you a co-host so that you will.
Okay. I think I'm good. Let me know when you can see my screen.
I can see your screen.
All right. Awesome.
Do you have the audio connected?
I'm going to narrate.
Oh, okay.
All right. So now that you can see my screen, some of my certifications, when you're an IT consultant, is a good idea to be knowledgeable in a lot of different types of technology. So I spend a lot of time studying. When I get into the office, one of the first things that we do to make sure that we're supporting our client here at McVet correctly is we check our ticketing system. So we use what ticketing system basically is a way of tracking what issues have been reported by the people you are serving. So that screen that you saw and that screen that you see on my desktop here, those are I'm logged into our ticketing system to see any problems that people have reported. Has their computer died? Are their phones not working? is there a virus on someone's computer? Those are the type of things that we get. So we have to get those in, and then we have to work on those as they come in. Now kind of going into our main office space. We double this as a small classroom and for some of my advanced IT students. We also have a little workbench over here where we take in donated equipment and we refurb it, or equipment that our client has that needs to be worked on. We'll work on it here if it's something that just needs to be touched up. So I'm kind of going out into the hallway now. McVet's like a 5-story building, so lots of little corridors. One thing that we're doing now, where I'm heading over to now, is we're in the process of building a second computer lab, which is going to be a Pearson VUE testing center. We're also outfitting it as a full-on laboratory with workbenches and things, so we can do PC dissections, networking labs, cybersecurity exercises, things like that. So it's still a work in progress, but you get to see like the early preview. You can see a lot of the equipment that we put together. We just finished hanging 2 big 75-inch TVs that are going to act as our smart boards yesterday. So it's coming together pretty good. We hope to have the lab completed by the end of this month and ready to serve students and our community partners. Fast forward a little bit. Oh, speaking of partners, we work closely with an organization called PCs for People. They help donate some of the machines that are in the lab. They're a really good partner. They're professional Microsoft refurbishers. They're here in Baltimore City too, so they're pretty cool. I'm going to skip going through the elevator because that took a while. Now going up to the 5th floor. This is where some of the offices of the employees of McVet are stationed. So we're up here running tickets from time to time. They also have a big conference area. So we maintain their audio visual equipment. So they got projectors and a sound system. So you can see TVs all over the place. You wouldn't think a TV is a piece of IT equipment, but it is. We use TVs as computer monitors all the time. Matter of fact, in my office, the screen behind me is a television. I'm using it as a computer monitor. I'm going to go into their second computer lab. This is one that we set up and maintain for additional classes. Besides being a shelter, McVet is also a workforce training center. So they do all types of classes, not just IT stuff. So we support those other classes by providing the technology they need. Because that's kind of an overlooked part. When you're doing IT isn't only for technology companies. Every company that you could possibly think of uses computer technology. Walmart uses computers. The grocery store uses computers. So it's kind of normally it's kind of hidden in the background, but when you're an IT person, you kind of get to pull the curtain back and see behind the scenes. Right now, I'm just showing you some of the wiring. So this is kind of that behind the scenes stuff. Like if you weren't looking for it, you might not notice that there's internet wires running all through the ceiling and things like that. But as an IT professional, we have to be aware of that type of stuff, because if something goes wrong with the network, then I might have to follow these wires and trace them to figure out where the problem is. There's another TV mounted to the wall that's dubbing as a computer monitor that we use. So now we're going into a little networking closet here. For my Cisco folks, shout out Cisco. Pretty much.
So is this a server room or it's not
it's a server room. Okay. I think my camera must have got flipped. It's a server room. I'm sorry for the upside down pictures.
How do you keep track of all those wires?
Don't laugh at my wires. This is poor cable management. Normally we inherited that. Normally they're not, the wires is neater than that, but they're tools. There's a tool we call a fox and a hound that lets you do cable traces. So you put one piece of the tool on one end of the cable, and then you put a tone generator on the other end of the cable, and it sends a signal through the wire. And if you touch the correct wire pairs, it makes an audible beep sound, like a
Wow.
so that's how you're actually able to trace wires through walls. So remember I said sometimes there might be a computer way over here, and then you got to go way down the hall to troubleshoot it, and you get to one of these closets and you don't know exactly which cable it is. That Fox and Hound or that tone and signal generator help you identify that.
So is this like all of like the motherboards? I know nothing about
Well,
IT,
so
Dr.
I
Sanders.
know I'm sorry it's upside down right now, but right now we're looking at a rack. So this is a rack, but it's not racking servers, it's racking AV equipment. Because again, if it's technology, a lot of times in a small to mid-sized company, as the IT person, you're still responsible for it. So that rack had all of the AV equipment that controlled the projectors, the sound system, all of those other TVs that were doubling as computer monitors. All of that is being controlled from that rack. So we maintain that as well. I'm upside down again, just looking at some of the offices. And then,
So Dr. Sanders, we
Yes.
are at time, but I have
Okay.
really 2 questions, and hopefully
Yes.
Albert will give me grace. What is the most fun part, if you like middle school and high school students, what is the most fun part of your job that you look forward to like every day?
The most fun part of my job is seeing something new every day, right? As an IT professional, we constantly get new challenges, right? Every day I come in here is something different. It might be, something as simple one day as, fixing somebody's printer, and then something maybe the next day I'm trying to identify, the effects of a phishing scam and make sure nobody's email account got hacked. So it's always constantly something different. So you never really get bored. There's always something new to learn too. So if you like learning new things, that's really fun. And then I like being able to interact with customers. So as a consultant, that's another big benefit that we get. We actually get to have face-to-face time with the people that we're helping. So when you actually get to see, you fix that person's problem and they're like, oh man, thank you so much. Thank you. They give you the fist bump or the high five or whatever, because you just made their day, because they were lost without you. That's an awesome feeling, to let you really get to see the impact of what you're doing on somebody's day-to-day work experience.
Awesome. My last question before I turn it over, because some of our students are joining us from elementary, middle school. So for students who are like, why does this class matter? Like, why does ELA matter, or math matter, or science matter? Like, what is your parting word of wisdom to our students who may feel that way right now?
My parting word is learn everything you can, because you never know how it's going to be used later on. And one example, right? So when I used to work for an organization called Pearson. They're the largest educational company in the world. I was on their global IT team. I was working with one of my team members, and he was stuck trying to troubleshoot this software application. And he was looking at the computer code for the software application. Now, I'm not a computer programmer, right? So my area of expertise is cybersecurity and networking and computer hardware. But he's looking at this computer code. He's like, I can't figure this out. So I asked him what language it was in. He said it was in XML. That's kind of like almost similar to like HTML, like we use for writing web pages. So I'll take a look at it for him. And I just so happened to have learned XML like a long time ago, and used it when I was a contractor with the Internal Revenue Service. So I look at the code and immediately I see the error that he had. And I'm like, oh, change this. Boom, 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 boom. He did it and it fixed this problem instantly. Now, do I do XML for my job? Had I done it for my job for years? No. But because I picked up that little nugget of education, I was able to use it right then in the right time. Music's another example. Like I went to high school. I was a music major in high school, but I've been able to teach kids about technology because of my passion for music. I use music to introduce kids to technology by showing them how to do audio engineering and how to record their own singing or record their own beats and things like that. So learn everything, because you never know how you're going to be able to use it later.
Thanks so much. I'm going to hand it back over to Albert. Thank you guys so much.
Thank you. And I'm
You're
gonna,
welcome.
heard something. Thank you so much, Dr. Sanders. So we're gonna pass it over actually to Shamara to close us out. And then we're gonna also put some links in the chat for you all to continue to stay engaged.
Thank you so much, Albert. How exciting was that, students on the call? We learned so much today about information technology. Thank you to all the panelists who decided to share their time this Friday morning with our students. I see Zion peeking at us and here. Check out the slide here for our upcoming opportunities in the Office of College and Career Readiness. We have for all of our students in the district, we have another Career Ready Friday on February the 12th, where we'll focus on careers and human resource services. The links will be in the chat. Also, check out our newsletter where we'll be giving updates and highlights about the things that's happening in the city related to career readiness. And if you're not receiving a newsletter, please sign up. And also get excited. February is CTE month. If you want to learn more, sign up and on that link as well. Don't forget high school students. YouthWorks application opens up at midnight, Monday, January 17th. Get your application in. There's also going to be a YouthWorks workshop on March the 4th for resumes and mock interviews to get you prepared for your YouthWorks summer job opportunity. And then there's the Empower Apprenticeship for seniors only. Check that out. Apply by January 18th. That link is in the chat as well. Thank you so much, Gerard, for being my backup. I put in those links in the chat. We look forward to having you all join us in February. Thank you and have a good one.
And real quick, Mr. Haneke wants to say some really, really quick parting words. Go ahead, Mr. Haneke.
Yeah, I just want to say that this industry, IT, is very diversified, and it can be in anything, and it's any industry that has computers. If you like, for example, food, you can go work for Micros. If you like transportation, CSX, American Airlines, they all have IT. If you like money and you want to work at a bank, like Bank of America's got their own IT department, aerospace, NASA. You don't have to work for a quote unquote like a computer company like Hewlett Packard or Apple or anything like that. If you want to do that, it's there for them. But any industry that has computers, they need you. So like I said, whatever floats your boat or turns you on in that industry, and you want to get into the computer MIS department or whatever it is, the sky is no longer the limit. You have Elon Musk, and you have these folks, Branson, going into outer space, and they need IT people. So the sky is no longer the limit. So just want to put that out there. You can go anywhere with this profession.
Thank you so much for that, Mr. Haneke.
All right. Well, if we don't have any more questions or any more comments, that is it for today's Career Ready. Oh,
Can I
go
make
ahead,
one?
Professor Willie.
I've been frantically dropping stuff in the chat. Just wanted to call everybody's attention to it. So Pass It On has a fellowship as well for open to seniors. It's called the Empowerment Fellowship Program. It offers opportunities to get training in cloud, cybersecurity, in computer hardware, and it covers certifications. So registration is open. I just dropped the link. And for teachers, we're doing a through Towson University, we're doing the Be More Secure teacher training camp this summer. It is free for teachers, but you get a stipend. That means you'll get paid to come to training. You also get professional development credits for a year of support following the 1-week training academy. You also get a Chromebook and a Raspberry Pi. So apply for that. Spaces are limited. We only got like 30 spots. So get your spot quick. I dropped the link to Towson University's website and registration page for that opportunity. And lastly, Albert mentioned this earlier in the presentation, there's a lot of different career paths in technology that you can get into. I'm going to be talking about those in a presentation called Succeed in IT. I dropped the link to that webinar for anyone who's interested in learning more about those career paths. That's going to be on January 24th on Cisco WebEx at 7 p.m. So I dropped the link to register on Eventbrite to get your ticket. Those spaces are limited too.
All right. Well, that is a wrap. Again, thank you all so much for being here today. We'll be in touch. Stay safe and be well.